Hey, everybody. I wanted to uh, tell you something just some information that just came in. And what's interesting is that um, yesterday, the brother in Christ sent me some horse reins that he made and said he was going to finish making them in heaven because they were half done. And so I know the timing is very significant. And I really believe that this is a sign that we're about to leave. And so it's kind of late at night and I'm not going to be on camera. So I figured I would just talk over this because it's part of the feeling of departure because of the way that he sent this to me. And so tonight I got a comment on my video where, I have mentioned dreams before related to the planetary alignment parade going on right now and the Rapture connection. Well, this particular comment goes back to a dream that a sister had 5 years ago. And I'm going to play part of the dream because she sees 5 planets in a straight line. Now, everybody's saying they're 5. They're actually 10. But, if you look up things, it'll say 5. So she saw 5. And she also saw the moon in a certain place at the time of the rapture, which I'll show you. And then she also saw a Boston Marathon runners, okay? And as it turns out, his brother told me, I looked it up, they were having a race in Boston on the 26th of June. Exactly like she saw, but this was 5 years ago and she thought it was a different race. But what's interesting is that the 26th is right around the time when the moon is going to leave this planetary lineup. It meets the sun in Gemini, the moon and sun, like the bride and groom in Gemini, which is the constellation of the bride and groom, the twins. And then she also saw the number 19. I meant to play this. So what I'm going to do is show you these connections right now because it's mind-blowing. And the other thing too that I have said in the past is that I always felt, now this is me, this is how I've just always had this thing about the number 26 being connected to the rapture, and I've talked about that before several times. And it just turns out that this race is on the 26th. So so what I'm going to do is show you part of the dream and then show you the connections and what's going on at the same time.
This happened when I was on the property of my home or outside the airport, but I remember going outside and I remember seeing planets in a line. This planet right here, I believed in my dream it was the moon, but it wasn't like the yellow moon that I was describing earlier. It was like a moon that looks like. Do you guys have Solarium? Because if you ever notice on YouTube videos or if you have the app and you see the moon, it's like a grayish color, like a dark color. So that's how I saw it in my dream. And I think it was 7 planets, but I don't remember seeing rings around the planet. because I know one of the planets have rings around it. So I don't remember seeing that, but I remember seeing multiple planets, more than 4. I know that for sure. It was more than 4, and it was in a line diagonally like this. And I knew in my spirit that as long as these planets were in a line, the rapture was going to happen. And then later on, my dream switched. But it's weird. It's like the settings switched again, but I was in the car with my mom and my brother's girlfriend. She was in the back seat. And we were driving through what looked like a marathon that was getting ready to happen, like a little Boston Marathon. You know, people were getting ready to run. I remember seeing people in neon hoodies, waterproof hoodies. You know how when construction workers are outside, they wear like the neon hoodies and stuff, or the cross guards wear that. I saw them wearing that. So, and then I remember seeing a little girl who had it, and for some reason, something in my dream circled the little girl. Like, let me see it. Literally, you guys, this is what something in my dream did. It went like this, a little girl, and it put an arrow right there. It was in white. Like, it circled the little girl, like it wanted me to focus on a little girl. So the traffic was very slow because of this marathon that was happening. I guess we were driving through like a little path of cones. But my mom was on her phone. I snatched the phone out of her hand because I wanted her to be careful where she was going, even though the traffic was really slow. And then we were on our way to go get my haircut. I wanted a haircut in the dream because in real life I really wanted a haircut. But I think God was just putting that part in there so we could have so we had like a reason to drive so He could show me. But then when we reached our destination, I forgot. While we were driving through this very like slow traffic because of this marathon that was happening, we saw somebody running, an older man. And he was wearing this hoodie that I was describing, and he was running, and I think he had like a fake leg. Something was wrong with his leg, but he was running in the marathon, and my mom rolled her window down, and she yelled to him, "Good job!" So we continued on driving, and then when we reached my destination, I'm going to be honest with you in the dream. I looked in the mirror, and I saw my teeth were very yellow, and I was like hesitating to go in because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get a haircut and my teeth are really yellow, that's embarrassing. And I looked in the mirror and I was kind of hesitating to cut my hair to go on the salon. And then I got out the car and I look up, I see a billboard of like a wave, a huge billboard of a wave or an ocean or something, and I knew that represented tsunami. So in my dream, I felt in my dream, I just remembered, I knew that there was supposed to be a tsunami that was going to happen around the same time of the rapture. But that's it. And then I was kind of hesitating to go in to cut my hair. So I looked in my reflection in the window. And I remembered also, I don't know when, but I saw the sky again. And the moon, right here, it kind of like shifted a little, like slid a little bit down from this straight axis. And I knew as long as all these planets, including the moon, as long as they were all in the line, the rapture was going to happen. I knew it. In my spirit, I just knew it, you guys. And when I saw the moon like go down a little bit, I knew it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, the rapture is gonna happen any second. For example, like if the moon was right here already, the rapture had already happened. Like these planets had to be in a line, and that was like the sign that the rapture was gonna happen. It was almost like a little timer. But that's how it was in my dream, you know. That's just how my worldly mind's thinking. I don't know if God, like, if He showed me this to show me this is actually going to happen, or He was showing me something else. My fleshly mind is thinking, like, the planets are literally going to be in a straight line. But I'm just showing you guys what God showed me. So, yeah, and then, in my dream also, I forgot to tell you, when I was getting out the car, I knew the rapture was going to happen any second, you guys. I knew any second that same day I was going to be in heaven. I just didn't know what time, but I knew it was going to be that day that the rapture was going to happen. So when I woke up, I look up Boston Marathon in November 2017. You know, because I know it's every spring, but I was like, okay, but I saw like people in almost what looked like the rain, little waterproof jackets. They were outside. So I looked up Boston Marathon 2017, and then I saw the first thing that came up was a half marathon that was happening in Cambridge. And Cambridge, that's a town in Massachusetts. And that was occurring, let me see, I think that's the 18th. Oh, on November 19th, that's when the Cambridge half marathon is going to happen. So it hasn't happened yet. And then I remembered in my dream, my brother's girlfriend was in the back seat with me and my mother. So I knew that God used her to confirm for me that this was the Cambridge marathon that I was driving in the middle of, not in the middle of, but in the side of. Because she lives in Cambridge, she's from Cambridge, she's there right now. So I feel like God was definitely telling me something about, he wanted me to look up half marathon Cambridge. He led me to this by the things he showed me in my dream, and it leads to this date. And he confirmed the town Cambridge using my brother's girlfriend, and I had no idea about this until after my dream when, I went online and looked it up.
So here we have it. On June 26th, there will be a race in Boston. 10,000, presented by Brigham and Women's Hospital this Sunday, June 26th. More than 6,000 participants are expected to run through Boston's Back Bay. This race starts at 8 a.m. This is what the girl in the dream saw, I believe. She saw something about a Boston Marathon. This is going to be on the 26th, which is right around the time when the moon is going to start to go a little off that straight line and move into Gemini.
But yeah, so I don't know if he's telling us, he gave us all the number November 13, and the two planets aligned and made that star. I just didn't see it. But did you guys see it? I just didn't. I don't know if there were trees in the way, but I didn't get a chance to see it. But yeah, so my point is, he gave us November 13th, and that happened, and the Bethlehem star was in the sky. So because of the two planets that were aligned, and he's also given me the number November 19th.
So the reason number 19 is significant is because of Psalm 19, which I will read. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. Their line, the planets are in alignment, in a line right now as I speak, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. The bridegroom's going to come out of his chamber, and it's connected to the lineup here of the planets, according to Psalm 19, which is the number 19. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. All right, so this is amazing. This is pointing to the lineup of the planets right now, connecting it to the bridegroom coming out of his chamber. Okay, so looking at this picture of the planets again, this is June 23rd, yesterday. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Moon, Uranus, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun. That's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then there's 2 that you can't see with the visible eye. So, not sure why they keep calling it 5. But, so what I want to show you right here where the sun is, Gemini is right here. And that girl's dream, she had a picture of a little girl right to the left of the sun. And I'm thinking that God was showing her part of Gemini here, which is the bride and groom, which is where the sun and the moon is the bride, the sun, of course, is Jesus. The moon and the bride will be together in Gemini. Let me show you that. The 24. Again, it's like this moon is just going straight down the line like in a church aisle. I mean, look at this. Let's just look at it one more time. It's amazing, you know. The moon is right here, and just imagine going down a church aisle like this, all the way down this line to meet the groom. It's amazing. So on the 26th, which is when that marathon, that race is, and aren't we all in a race right now? Yes, we are. I think that's why God pointed out this race. So you have on the 26th, this is where the moon is, on the way to meet the sun in Gemini, right there on the 28th. And then after that, it disappears there. So I'm looking to see exactly, you know, when it looks like it's. Remember, she said as long as the moon is in a line with these planets, the rapture could happen. But the minute that the moon is, you know, off the line, the rapture already happened. That's what she said. So I want to go over Leviticus 23, which has to do with when Shavuot, Pentecost is. And I want to read you in verse 16. I'll start at 15. Now, I know that a lot of people think that you start counting 50 days after the first 50 days. And many years ago, someone on YouTube started teaching that. But it never really sat right with me. And so I looked at it again today. And I just want to show you why I really believe Pentecost, Shavuot, is literally the 50 days, the first 50 days you come to when you start counting, and that's it. So it says, and you shall count unto you, verse 15, from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. So basically, he's saying you start counting the Omer count after the first wave offering, which is the day after the Sabbath, okay? From the day that you bring the wave offering, you start counting the Sabbath after that day. And you count 7 Sabbaths, okay? So 7 Sabbaths is 49 days. It's 7 weeks. 49 days shall be complete, even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. So what does that mean? Even the day after the seventh Sabbath, okay, the seventh Sabbath, that's 49 days. So it says the day after 49 days is what? 50. Shall ye number 50 days? That's all it means. You're counting the next day is your 50th. You shall number it 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering to the Lord. So a lot of people are saying you start counting a new 50 days here. That is not what it means. It means you're at 7 Sabbaths, that's 49 days. The next day is 50. So you number it 50, and then you bring a meat offering to the Lord. Okay? It does, and then it says, ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. Okay, that's the 2 loaves of bread. Okay, so it's telling you that you're going to bring an offering then. It's not saying bring an offering after 100 days. Because if it was 100, why would they stop at 50? Because at 50 they're telling you to bring an offering. At 50 they're telling you to bring an offering. Otherwise, if they only wanted you to bring an offering on day 100, then he wouldn't have said stop at 50. He wouldn't have said there's 7 Sabbaths, 49 days. What, count 49 days and then start over? It doesn't make sense. He would have just said count 100 days and then bring your offering. It only talks about bringing an offering one time. So I hope that makes sense. With that said, if Pentecost was on the 15th day of the third month, which it was just past, June 15th, and the Ruth and Boaz got married after the wheat harvest. Okay, so we are already after the wheat harvest right now. We don't know how many days after the wheat harvest, but the Shavuot was the 15th. And we are right now at least over a week, almost 11 days after Shavuot. Okay, so this whole planetary parade is lining up several days after Shavuot. This is exactly when we could expect the harvest to be taken, which is the rapture.